Welcome to the 611 Films YouTube channel. We are back in 99. My name is David Groves, as one of your hosts. With me, as always, my co-host,
Neil McKay. Back in 99.
Back in 99, here we go. We are talking about Mystery Men, a superhero film that I was kind of like, eh.
I will confess I did not do my homework for this. I did not rewatch. I think the last time I saw it was when I saw it in the theaters. I did see it in the theaters in 99.
Yeah.
And I just kind of did the like cliff notes, like the Wikipedia plot, and I was like,
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Boring.
I did see it, I think, in college, maybe when it was on DVD. I think one of my roommates really liked it. But it was one of those movies where I think I did see it, but it's just so, it's not very memorable, you know?
Yeah. I remember being like very disappointed by it. And I was actually like kind of stoked to see it because I was like, oh man, it's like a Ben Stiller, superhero, funny, like all the people like I love, like Hank Azaria and like Pee Wee Herman was in it, and Gene Garofalo. I was like, this is going to be Greg Kinnear. It was like going to be awesome. And then it was like,
cast was amazing. The casting.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it had everybody in it, and then I saw and then again, I was working at the movie theater at the time, so I was like, all right, I get to see this movie for free when it came out, and I was just like, oh, that kind of sucks. So interestingly enough, I get out of that movie, and then I'm like, oh well, I don't know, that was kind of meh. Let me see what this other movie that opened the same weekend is all about, and that happened to be The Sixth Sense.
Oh, okay.
Like, so that opened the same weekend, and
Gotcha.
that was because at the time nobody was really paying attention to that. It wasn't. But when I went into the theater, it's like 4:00, I don't know, on a Friday or something, and it's like packed. And I'm like, oh, do people know something that I don't? Because it was a huge hit, obviously.
Sure.
But the Mystery Men theater was not as packed as The Sixth Sense.
I know what you did. You're a damn predator.
Oh no, I mean, I looked stuff up too, just to be like, after seeing the movie, just to be prepared. It bombed. I mean, it actually was pretty much a box office bomb, and it is kind of weird, funny that you have such a cool cast. Ben Stiller coming off of Something About Mary, and Jeffrey Rush and Oscar nominated. Like, you just have all these people that are just like, whoa, this is this cast, and it's just mediocre. And they even say that too. I mean, they said that too, I think, in a lot of the Wikipedias, like people that read it, or Ben Stiller was kind of like, I don't want to direct it. They couldn't find someone. And a lot of people that read it, I mean, even Garofalo herself said, well, it's pretty good money, so why not?
Yeah. I think it was supposed to be like a quick shoot, but it ended up taking like 6 months or something.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was one of those things that was just doomed from the start.
Right.
And it is kind of like,
it was shot weird. I mean, rewatching it too, it's like it doesn't have it didn't have much of an identity to me. Like, it didn't know what it wanted to be. You're doing this weird kind of Batman in this big city, and then 2 seconds later we're in the valley in Southern California, and then it was kind of all over the place. They did weird camera stuff, like all of a sudden they're doing POV shots of characters talking to each other. Like, there's a Michael Bay cameo for some odd reason as a frat boy bad guy. I'm like, what? The effects are kind of cool, but then they rely a little bit. I don't. That's I guess the biggest thing that I'd say is, like, I don't think this movie knew what it wanted to be.
Probably, yeah. And I just remember the jokes like landing flat, and I was like, oh, this is kind of. Right. This is kind of silly, because with the character who like makes people pass out from farting, like, what you're going into, but even that was like, oh, this is still like way dumber than like, it's just still pretty.
Right. Yeah.
I knew it was going to be stupid, but it's even.
I think rewatching it last night, I think I chuckled, laughed out loud maybe a handful of times, and that by a handful I mean 5, like probably 5.
Like.
But again, but the thing is, I didn't
5 more than me.
Well, I did. The thing is, it's not like I dislike it or hate it. Sometimes, it's like, that was just awful or bad. This is literally so middle of the road to me. Like, I don't like it, but I don't like dislike it.
I would agree with that. Yeah, it wasn't like, oh my God, that was terrible. It was just sort of like, Okay. It wasn't even like worth me watching again for this pod. I was just like, but I mean, but it was worth talking about just simply because it was supposed to be this huge, movie, and it just
Sure.
But it did bring us the song All Star by Smash Mouth, which was, if I hear that song one more damn time.
Right.
Hey now, you're an all-star, get your game on.
That was the biggest, and we've talked about movies with songs that kind of they were more popular with some of the teen movies. This song was their one-hit wonder, Smash Mouth's All Star, and wildly more popular.
They had another song a couple years before, like Walking on the Sun or something like that.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was like kind of a hit. This was by far like the huge hit, and it's like it's so cliche. You hear it now, and you're like, oh my god, like again. But weirdly enough, because of this movie bombing, it is now more synonymous with Shrek.
Hey now, you're an all-star, get your game on, go play.
Than it is this movie, but it came out for this movie, and they did the music video and everything,
right
for this movie. And then a couple years later, they were like, let's do it in Shrek instead. And
yeah,
now people think of that song with Shrek and not Mystery Men. So it was What was the? Do you know what the box office was on this one?
Yeah, I think it said it was like a $68-70 million budget, and it did $33 million worldwide.
Ooh. And then I should have looked this up before. So what is it on like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb? Is it like kind of
I think it's a very middling, like we were saying, like I'm saying too. People are just kind of like middle of the road, like 50 out of 100, 5 out of 10.
It can't even get the like awful rating to make it like notorious. It's just.
I mean, I guess somebody would say, or somebody was like, yeah, it might go into cult status or something to that effect. But I don't know. I don't know. You don't see this this movie doesn't really play that often.
Yeah,
so.
I don't. I was curious to see if it like aged better, or like you said, if it would be a cult hit. And that's really just kind of all I remember is just disappointed, and then I was like, what's this little movie? A kid can see ghosts. Like, what's that all about? And it was like, oh my god, this place is packed. Like, what's going on? And it was like that was the big movie.
Well, yeah. Thankfully, the night got better after that. Or whatever.
I know. I was like, oh, this is. I should have went to this one, not Mystery Men. But
yeah, right. Well, look, that's really all we can say about this movie. So thanks. Go check it out if you want to. Otherwise, don't waste your time. There's so many better 99 movies we've talked about that if you haven't seen, go check those out. But thanks for watching this, guys. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe, comment, do all those cool things on YouTube for us. Helps the channel a lot. And we'll see you again on the next Back in 99. See ya.